No song and no singing, and no power of the massed will of her brothers and sisters. They were gone, and she was the last, limping through snow on a leg scored by the teeth of a stada that had charged past her to join the pack pulling the war leader apart. Streifbjorn had died there, eaten alive, borne down under a black wave of Stadown, and Muire had lived because she ran. Now she returned. She'd lost her helm somewhere, and her crystal sword, Nathar, was dark as a splinter of glacier in her hand. Ash-colored plaits hung down her back like a pair of rope ladders, snow snagging on stray hairs. She saw other braids vanishing under the snow, smooth golden or flaxen ones, without the split ends and sprung bits that always seemed to come of Muire's impatience with the brush. Snow had drifted over most of the blood, but her boots broke through the crust to ink a red trail behind her. She trudged, head down, and when the brief winter light was failing, she found the place that she had fled from. She sheathed her blade and dropped to her knees in the snow, fresh blood oozing from her ragged wound, and there, with bare hands, she began to dig. She found Arngeir first, Bergdis lying half over him, as if their mutual slaughter had been the consummation of an embrace. Menglad Brightwing was cold and quiet beside them, her hand cast over her mouth, palm outward, as if expressing surprise. She lay unmarked, except for the blood of her enemies, victim of a tarnished kiss. And then Muire uncovered Streifbjorn. She hunkered, knees drawn up before her, and bit her fingers and stared, and tried to find the courage to lie down in the snow beside him. He had died bravely, but he hadn't died well. The Stadown had had their way with him, so she would not have known him from his face. But his stature and his silver-white plait told her whose body this was, as did the blade called Alviter lying unbroken by the remains of his hand. Behind the storm night was falling. The long, sweet howl of a stada lifted the hair on her neck, as perfect and mournful as the call of the wolf the monster had once been. Muire pulled her cloak tight to her shoulders and rubbed at icy tears. She could not stay here. She did not have the strength to bury them. They were frozen in the snow, and there were too many. She dared not even sing them to sleep. A raised voice would lead the hunting Stadown to her. It would be a fitting way to die, but she looked on what remained of Streifbjorn and she feared it. And so instead she reached down deep to where the light should have filled her, where there should have been an answer, the knowledge of what it willed, a swanning. But the light had no counsel. The brilliance that should have blazed from her hands and eyes and open mouth was nothing but a flicker, the last blue flame crawling over spent fuel before the wind unravels it. It was only the ghost of strength dying in Muire's breast. The light did not answer.
Casimir could not find Herfjordr. There were so many under the snow, and the stench of blood and the dead musk of Sedada was everywhere. He nosed aside the vile wolf corpses, and swept snow from bodies with his horned head, because the antlered one hung dripping blood from chill nostrils. The wind gusted this way and that, twisting his feathers. The night came on, and he, who had never known the cold, felt it leaching into his bones, pooling in his muscles, puddling in the bottoms of his lungs. It was heavy, that cold. Heavy, and it clawed at him with sharper talons than the Sedadown. Worlds had ended before. He had heard of the fall of Midgard, beyond a sea of space and time whence the very oldest of creatures had journeyed. The grey wolf, his demon sibling, and the world serpent who was called the Dweller Within, and also the bearer of burdens. There were many tales, and Casimir had heard them by firesides with his rider, when the grey wolf had deigned to speak. But the wolf had done what he had done. Casimir pushed through another drift, breast deep, hooves scrabbling as he floundered. Sometimes his feet struck frozen flesh under the snow, and each time